Hi, and welcome to The Way Out Tarot. This will be your timeless general reading for wherever you have Pisces in your chart. Before every reading, I ask for messages that you need to know. It's a general read. So what comes through can be a pretty mixed bag, but regardless of what comes through, we'll take a look at that message and unvarnished. And I encourage you to use your knowledge of your own experience and your intuition to attach meaning to it. I am merely the messenger. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and commenting. All the love that you've been showing the channel. There is this effect that you have wherever it is that you shift your focus to, whatever it is that you think is worthy of your undivided attention and is worthy of your investment, wherever it is that you set your sights, there's a lot of magic that can happen there. And I think it's tied to your capability. I think it's tied to your consistency. It's tied to your vision and your ability to flow. So it makes you pretty open to a lot of different ways to win. You know, but it's definitely, I'll stop shaking the camera, sorry. It's definitely about how you harness this energy. It's definitely how sex, whoa. So someone could be having sex, but I digress. Yeah, it could be you. So I digress. As I was saying, how successful you are depends on how well you can harness and channel that energy. This could be about channeling your sexual energy into some type of new opportunity or new venture here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual energy. It could be just a very intense and deep kind of spiritual maturity that you have. And it's like having that kind of maturity back you and back your pursuits. It sets you up to be on top. So the question then becomes, what do you want? Do you want what everybody else wants, or do you want something that is uniquely yours? that maybe you feel disconnected from, or maybe you feel that there is a lack of compassion, but that's just the surface. That's just what it looks like. That's how it's manifesting. There's more there. It's deeper than that. It's the secrets. Baggage. That you are cutting loose. There's something here that I keep getting dead weight that you're releasing. It's like dead weight that you have to release in order to get a part of yourself back. Or to make something feel good again, or fulfilling again, not just good. Yeah, it is about optimism, isn't it, this particular approach? So originality. I think we need one more. Authority. Just a light shuffle, and then we'll cut this deck and pull one. Wow. Okay. Okay, we just need one more. One sec. All right, second part of your video. Let's get into it, shall we? Overall energy for you, we have the Page of Pentacles there in the top left corner. Now, I know that this is earth energy, and you would typically associate this with finances, but I think what's more pertinent about this being the first card coming out is I think that it really speaks to the environment that you find yourself in right now. It's one of creation, in my opinion, because being earth energy, we're talking about the sowing that is taking place here. We're talking about the task itself, what goes into it, and we're talking about, when we get to talking about what goes into it, what's required of you is diligence, due diligence. And I think that you have that in droves. You have that in droves. Why? You're showing up as the King of Cups. And this is a very positive place to be coming from and in when trying to manifest, because you're showing up as the best version of yourself. So if you want to talk about capability, the King of Cups is capable, and so are you. Now, because of how much you can have and how much you can handle, I think that there is a question here that you must answer about how you want to go about achieving it. I think we have to acknowledge the fact that there isn't going to be, the Knight of Pentacles is telling us that there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. This is not something that you can afford to cut corners with. And one of the obstacles that you will undoubtedly encounter are you'll have to reconcile with your own feelings about it and about what's happening and about what happened. Now, one of the realizations that I think you make this month, or whenever you're coming across this video, this is a timeless read. One of the realizations I think you're getting here is that in some area, something was handled in a very cruel way, in a way that was devoid of compassion, in a way that was maybe concealed or had the mask of fairness. But there is a truth that was or is being denied here. And that's why something has been held, that's why you can't let go of something here. Or why something hasn't been let go of already, I should say. There are some instances where you are in control of the pacing when it comes to the how the truth is relayed or conveyed. And there are other instances where the truth gets delayed or it gets backburnered in favor of an outcome that is more beneficial in the short term, but is ultimately short-sighted because of the ramifications that are possible and also guaranteed. The natural progression to the read suggests that you make this transition towards cutting out this thing, cutting loose that dead weight, and in doing so, it's you settle some debts. Especially the ones you felt as though you have been paying for time and time again. So there's liberation in the reading in that sense, in the way that you're free of something, or deciding that you're going to be free of something. That's really when the change takes place. And I think that what is this feeling, it's very addictive, isn't it? It's like a different kind of high. It's one in which it's one that makes you feel the comfort, the warmth, the strength that comes with truth and comes with your personal truth, and not being ashamed of owning how you feel, or how someone has been making you feel. That's the question that this card is asking. What is your truth? And I think you're finding it. I think that you're expressing it. I think that you are conveying that. And that does mean that there are going to be some upsets. That does mean that there are going to be one or a few who aren't going to be happy with the prospect of you turning off the tap, of you no longer giving in the way that you were giving, of you no longer being as available. So silence speaks volumes, and I think that is your that's your chosen weapon. Unacknowledgement can hurt. Unacknowledgement can hurt those who feel as though their well-being is tied to the amount of attention that you give them, or the amount that you invest in them, in just how often you bear them up. I'm not certain if you're familiar with the experiment. It's fairly popular, so you may have heard of it, but it's one that involves a glass of water, and you could ask someone, how much does this glass of water weigh? And they could take a guess at it, right? Now, when you ask the same person that same question, only they're holding it up in midair, it's going to feel light for a time, but the longer they hold their hand in that position, their arm begins to get tired. Their arm begins to get tired. So something that is seemingly a small action, or something that seems as though is a small gesture, can feel like a mountain. It can feel a lot heavier, a lot more difficult of a task. The longer that you are pouring energy into it. let's go ahead and get to clarifying. And we'll start top left with the Page of Pentacles. So some truth is coming out here about some no good, horrible deeds, about some things that are ethically wrong. There's a lie here about intention. There's a lie here about the story. The facts are not straight. Two of Wands. Two of Wands clarified by the Four of Cups. Indeed, when faced with disappointment, one must shift gears and accept the reality of what they are experiencing in order to bounce back despite the mayhem and the temptation to overreact and descend into destruction. There's that's not an option here. That's not an option here. Let go of the things that you're not getting in order to embrace the things that you have and that you can get, that you can build again. It's like these are things that aren't really good for you anyway, and it's like they're things that maybe you think that you need. Maybe it's things that you feel like you deserve. Knight of Pentacles. We talk about this all the time. No one truly owes anyone anything. There's choice, and what one chooses to do is their decision to make, and you should be okay with them not wanting to add to your life. You should not need them. There isn't anybody that's coming for what you got. Nobody's going to take it from you. Knight of Pentacles clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. Somebody's saying, when are you just gonna get it? Actually, what I'm hearing verbatim is, when are you gonna get it into your skull? King of Wands. Honesty is the best policy. And it's the only way, rather, that we'll be able to take care of this grief. Like, truly take care of it. And I'm not talking about learning to live with it, because in some ways you are still carrying it. Page of Wands. So you sacrifice this pain. You sacrifice the heartache and how bad you feel. You leave all of that on the altar. And out of a sheer will to live and to move forward, you find your voice. You find your truth. And oh, what a beautiful truth it is. Oh, if it isn't one that adds color to a world that is black and white. It adds shades of gray. The sun. The star. The amount of warmth and solace that you will find when you embrace this truth, when you embrace this outcome, when you embrace the path, the chariot. Speaking of paths, but it's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice. The chariot comes right after the most important choice, the lovers, which is one between right and wrong. Right? That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. There are some things that must be done. There are some things that must be said. Out of principle. Some things that are just too heavy to carry with you down this new path. You've got to let go. You will always have your memories. You will always have what it meant to you. But it's holding you back. 9 of Wands. It's holding you back. You're not as shackled to it as you may think that you are. You don't need it as much as you think you need it. It's not as critical to your overall well-being as you think that it is. 5 of Cups in reverse. This is how we work with the energy. This is how we make peace. This is how we restore balance in our lives. It is a type of boundary, isn't it? One that is necessary for rebirth. One that is necessary for new life. And oh, what a life it will be. One that is filled with love of others that flows and comes naturally because of a genuine love of the self and who the self has become. April, fear. March, text me, trust issues. June, 4, 3, brown eyes. 5. This was your read. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. If you are looking for more content, the links to the Way Out podcast will be in the description box of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.